Welcome to Aminatou the Fateshifter. As far as our opening hand goes, we've got 4 lands and some tokens. Is this what yeah, I guess we'll keep on this. So we got 2 fetch lands, so we can kind of work with Aminatou's top ability. I would hate to mulligan into just a pile of garbage. I mean, just not super wild about having 2 late game threats in our hand, but we can make this work. So let's lead off with Isolated Chap. I'll have that come into play tapped, and then we're going to go and pass the turn over to our opponent. We're playing Aminatou, the Fateshifter, some nice Esper tokens. +1, draw a card, then put a card from your hand on top of your library. -1, exile another target permanent you own, then return to the battlefield under your control. Then for a -6, some crazy stuff happens. Let's go Intangible Virtue. Typically, we're not really going to be going for the -6, but choose left or right. Each player gains control of all non-land permanents other than Aminatou by the next player in the chosen direction. Playing against the Dragon himself, imminence, as long as the Dragon is in the command zone or on the battlefield. Other dragon spells you cast cost 1 less to cast flying. Then whenever one or more dragons you control attack, draw that many cards, then you may put a permanent card from your hand onto the battlefield. So let's see what we draw into Sad Robot. So yeah, let's go, we go Bloodstained Mire. Yeah, that's fine. Let's go Bloodstained Mire. And if we're going to play against the Dragon, we need to be pretty quick and pretty aggressive. So let's get this popped out just a little bit. Let's grab ourselves Underground Sea. Yeah, and I think I like going for Aminatou. Yeah, let's do that. So let's go Aminatou. That's going to be blue. Actually, we go white, black, and then blue. There we go. It's like tapping 3 colors is one of the hardest things you can do in Magic. Let's go +1, draw a card, to put a card from our hand on top of our library, which is, we're okay with that. We have Scalding Tarn if we want to shuffle something away, and then Spell Seeker. Do we want, man, I just don't think we need Spell Seeker at this point right now. Yeah, we're just going to put Spellseeker back on top, and then go and pass the turn over opponents. So we did cover both commanders. Let's give a quick shout out to our sponsors, MTGOTraders. If you've been playing some Arena and you want to play Commander online, Magic Online is a really good option for you to choose, and MTGOTraders is a wonderful sponsor. They have a ton of cards for you to pick from, whether it's Commander, Legacy, Pauper, Modern, Penny Dreadful, Canadian Highland, whatever sort of weird format you want to play. If you want to play freeform with a bunch of lightning bolts, whatever it is, go for it. They've got the cards that you need. Also, shout out to inkgaming.com. Use coupon code JOLT or click on the link down in the description below to get 10% off your order and help the channel out at the same time. And also, I started a Patreon. So if you'd like to contribute to the Patreon and get your name at the beginning or the ending of the credits, it is there. No pressure to join, but any little bit that does join certainly goes back to the channel, whether it's cards or new camera, new equipment, anything like that. It goes back to help it out. So anyways, now it is officially free time. We can have some fun. So at this point, we do have Aminatou to bounce something. We can actually go for Spellseeker if we need to get a few more, grab some sort of instant or sorcery. But I think at this point, I just like going Sad Robot. That's going to be a great way for us to just really start to get ahead on lands and really kind of start getting these tokens on the battlefield. So let's get this popped out just a little bit. It'd probably be a little bit better if we grab another blue source. So let's grab ourselves and blue and black. Yeah, let's grab Watery Grave. We're going to have that. Yes, we're going to pay 2 life. Let's go Sad Robot. Get down Sad Robot, search our library for a basic land. Yes, definitely want to use that ability. We go for Swamp. Let's go for the -1. And we're going to bounce Sad Robot and grab that last island in our library. Yes. There we go. Look at that. 6 mana. Anything else, kick it back over there. So at this point right now, we do have Angel of Invention. We definitely want to get that down. But if we're trying to sequence some stuff in our hand, what we can end up going for is we actually dump out and Secure the Waste. That's going to give us +1/+1 from Intangible Virtue. And then whenever we drop in Angel of Invention, that's going to give all these other creatures +1/+1 too. So we're going to actually end up with, instead of a bunch of 1/1s, end up with a bunch of 3/3s with Vigilance, which is, hey, that is some good magic right there. So let's go and push in with Sad Robot. And I'm pretty sure that we're only running 3 basics in here. I know I should run some more, but this deck is pretty strapped on what we're trying to do. This is a pretty core concept Esper deck. And so just having only 3 bases, I know I should have more in there, but long story short, we can't go for the Sad Robot flip anymore. And I think at this point, like I mentioned, I like just dumping this Secure the Waste at the end of our opponent's turn, because that's going to be a really really heavy board swing against our opponent. Now, if you haven't seen this deck before, I have played it a couple times. This is kind of an Esper token build. You know, it seems kind of interesting for Aminatou. She does have that -1 ability, so we do have some nice utility creatures in here. Stuff like Sad Robot, Spellseeker, Wall of Omens. But with the Fabricate ability, you can bounce these tokens and end up with a lot of tokens to get down to something like Intangible Virtue. Hey, you're having some fun. All right, so opponent's going to go for Scale Lord Reckoner, which I love the art on that. Like, you just busting through the wall saying, hey, what's up? Whenever a dragon you control becomes the target of a spell or ability, destroy target non-land permanent that player controls. So if we try to target the Scale Lord, he's going to be like, well, I'm going to blow up something of yours. All right, so we've got the 4/4 Beast dragon swinging in at Aminatou. Yeah, that's fine. Let's just go and dump out for Secure the Waste. All right, so X is going to be 5. They're swinging him at Aminatou, which is perfectly fine. They're going to have that Vigilance, and once we get down Angel of Invention, they're still going to give us a few extra tokens. Now we see if we want to end up going for the Fabricate 2. If we get the 2 tokens onto Angel of Invention, that will put it in at a 4/3, which we can trade with that dragon. So we'll see if that's exactly what we end up going for. And yeah, we'll see. So we draw into Recruiter of the Guard. Yeah, and I like going Angel of Invention, so let's get her down. And since she does have flying, I think I really like her coming in as a 4/3. Yeah, we'll go for the counters, because our main point right now is going to be swinging in with all these warrior tokens. So it's going to push in. That's going to be 15. That's going to be 18 coming across. Put our opponent down pretty low. Puts him down to 8, and then we'll go and pass the turn over to our opponent. So you can definitely see, you know, Aminatou is a great, great commander for the deck, but it's not crucial that we have her on the battlefield. And once she is on the battlefield, you know, bouncing something like Angel of Invention, it's another way for us to kind of get a few more tokens going. Now, if they don't have a board wipe, you know, we're in a really good position to close the game out. Thankfully, our opponent didn't get off to a quick ramp start, but you can definitely see where, you know, some of these Planeswalker decks, the way you build these decks is you really want to have these Planeswalkers kind of just be like almost like a plan B for the deck. Not a pure plan B, but you know, build it in a way that you can get most of your threats on the battlefield, because you want to be able to protect them, and you also want to be able to kind of push your board state into position to allow you to win. So you can see where if we get down Aminatou on this particular board state, now they do have a lot of flying creatures, but if this is kind of normal commander where there's just a lot of creatures on the ground, you can just sit there and just kind of keep plussing up with Aminatou and simply just bouncing a Spellseeker, Recruiter of the Guard every single turn, just really getting that nice incremental value. It's a good way to kind of build these Planeswalker decks, which also reminds me, there's been some talk of Planeswalkers being commanders in swinging it for 4. Okay, yeah, that's fine. Might be seeing a board wipe coming down. But there's been some talk of, oh, and actually they're going to the cleanup step. But yeah, there's been some talk of Planeswalkers becoming commanders, and I'm 100% A-okay with that. And I'll go more into that here in a second, but yeah, I mean, I guess we go and push in. Our opponent just swung in. We'll see if this is going to be good or not. All right, there we go. Knock him down to 14. So that was a little bit of a quick game. So what I'll probably end up doing is just splicing together some Aminatou decks, some different gameplay videos. But you can see where, you know, playing against a pretty strong deck like the Dragon, simply just bouncing Sad Robot to get ahead on land drops, dumping out some tokens, getting down a Tribal Lord, Angel of Invention, and Intangible Virtues. More than enough to close the game out, especially with these Sand Warrior tokens. They're like Pocket Sand, jumping out of the sand dunes. Welcoming the Dragon to Commander. But anyways, I'll see you in the next game. Bye. Welcome to Aminatou the Fateshifter. As far as opening hand goes, yes, I love it. We're going to keep on this one. We've got Limdale's Vault. We've got 3 lands. We have a Mana Rock and Azoria Signet and Gilded Lotus. So we've got definitely something to work towards, and just love Limdale's Vault. So hopefully we have a fun game. Playing against Tiger Shadow. So should be an interesting match. I know last time we played, it was not good for us. So hopefully we can change that. Let's go. And I guess if we want to get down Aminatou and leave up a fetch land, I think we would hold on to that. So let's go Hallowed Fountain, have that come into play tapped. Not going to pay 2 life for them. We're going to go pass the turn over to our opponent. We're playing Aminatou, the Fateshifter. +1, draw a card, then put a card from your hand on top of your library. Then for a -1, exile another target permanent that you own, return to the battlefield under your control. Getting some nice end of the battlefield effects. Let's go Isolated Chapel. And I think at this point, we just go Signet. I mean, we could try to jam a Bitter Blossom, but I think at this point, I like getting down Signet, and we'll go and pass the turn. And then for the -6, choose left or right. Each player gain control of all of the non-land permanents other than the Aminatou by the next player in the chosen direction. Some craziness ensues. Playing against Yuriko, the Tiger Shadow. I think that's how you say it. It's going to be like that for the rest of the video. So if it is wrong, I do apologize. But opponent's actually going to get down Yuriko right now. It's going to be 1-3. So we don't have a creature. We can actually end up going for Murmuring Mystic, which will kind of stop them from swinging in. Yeah, I think that's fine. So we go for Waste. Let's go Azorius Signet. Let's get down Murmuring Mystic. And that way we can at least kind of stop this commander from swinging in. If you haven't seen the video, me and the EDH channel, we played. He played Yuriko, and man, that was brutal. You can flip a lot of the, I think the split cards, and there's just a lot of damage whenever you reveal the top card of your library. You can use stuff like Scroll Rack, and man, there's just a ton of stuff that they can certainly go for. Opponent's going to go for Crystal Shard. And they're going to be able to bounce that. Yeah, that's, no, not going to be able to pay for it. All right, so I'm going to send Murmuring Mystic back to the hand. Once we end up getting down something like Bitter Blossom, or we can get a few more tokens with Murmuring Mystic, we'll at least be able to stop that from happening. But, and I think they do have to reveal, yes. And then Void Winter was on top of their library, so they can't get that just yet. Actually, if they want to, yeah, they can't cast that yet, so we don't, but that was a pretty big hit, putting us down to 20. And I guess at this point, so we go Bitter Blossom. We can go for Gilded Lotus to get a little bit of extra mana. Yeah, I kind of like going for Aminatou. So we go Underground River. And actually, if we want to start building up some board state, I think we just might end up going Bitter Blossom. I think that'd be better. So we go Underground River. Yeah, let's do that. So we go, I'm going to do this instead. So we're going to go Underground River. Once we get down Gilded Lotus, that's really just going to open us up on mana, and then we can add that triple black, go for a Bitter Blossom, and then that'll allow us to kind of basically just muddy up the board for our opponent to swing in. And if for some reason they do end up getting down Void Winnower, we can't cast even spells, but at least we'll still be able to get down Aminatou, and we'll have Bitter Blossom on the battlefield. And that will be a definitely a big problem for us if they get down Void Winnower. There's a lot of even spells in here, but there's still some nice stuff at the 3 and the 5 drops that we can still go for. Vindicate, Anguish Unmaking, Reflector Mage, Toxic Deluge. So it's not the end of the world if that ends up happening. Our opponent does get that Ancient Tomb down, and Maze of Ith is online because of Urborg. I was about to say they don't have that mana, but yes, they do have Urborg on the battlefield. But yes, if you haven't seen this Aminatou deck before, this is Esper tokens. May not look like it right now, but one of the ways that we can really take advantage of Esper tokens is by running stuff like Bitter Blossom, Murmuring Mystic. We can go for Anointed Procession. Once we get down Anointed Procession, that allows us to get a few extra tokens on the battlefield, and oh, it's fun playing tokens. I love it. Okay, so at this point, we've got Fairy Rogue that can block. We can go for Aminatou, but there's not really anything that we really want to kind of get down. So, you know, I kind of want to start building up some... Now, we can vault. With us being at 18, I'm not super wild about that. So let's go Gilded Lotus, go Azorius Signet. We get down Murmuring Mystic, and I think... because if we're going to go for Vault, that gives us an extra token. We might want to end up saving this Temple of Enlightenment. So let's do this. So let's go Prairie Stream, because if we're going to go for Limdil's Vault, we need to go for it probably this turn. And if we're going to find Anointed Procession, that's going to be a ton of tokens that we can get on the battlefield, Bitter Blossom. So we might be able to kind of outrace that life loss. So I think that'll be the better option. So we go Limdil's Vault. Hopefully we don't have to dig too deep to find Anointed Procession. We'll see what else they kind of get out there. But once we find Anointed Procession, that's going to giving us 2 Black Fairy tokens on the battlefield. And then also with Murmuring Mystic, there'll be 2 more Bird tokens. So we could really end up with some really nice army in the air, and then hopefully kind of basically just kind of make it hard for our opponent to swing in with their commander to get that damage trigger. All right, so they're going to go for 1. Yeah, we'll pay that one. Yep. All right, so we're going to pay for the 1, and if they want to go for that activation again, like I said, we're trying to jam at Limdil's Vault, so then that's going to be really kind of fit into our game plan. Oh, but in my other video, so I think I'm going to splice them this way, but in my other video, I started to talk about Planeswalkers being commanders and commander, and I've just seen different people on Twitter kind of talk about that, and Sheldon came out and said that they don't want Planeswalkers to be the commanders, but I'm perfectly fine with it. I think it's it's definitely an area that needs to be explored. I mean, because the game is going in a direction where planeswalkers are becoming more prevalent. I think it's something that's really cool. I've always, ever since I got into Command, when I found out about Commander, I just remember thinking from day one, like, man, it would be so cool to have the original Vraska, be my commander. That does kind of put you in a position where doubling season might have to be banned, but just ignoring the doubling season argument at this point right now, I feel like it'd be perfectly fine. I think it would be some really interesting gameplay, and there's just a lot of times where you do have a planeswalker as a commander. Now we need to deal with his coffers. That is not going to be good with Urborg on the battlefield, especially with something like Exsanguinate. So let's go for Limdul's Vault. And I'll kind of finish that that thought here in just a second, because I don't want to go too deep on that. All right, so to give us an extra bird token, and let's see what we want to grab with Vault. I'm fingers crossed we have some land removal in here. I think I put some in here, but we build so many decks that ooh, Divine Visitation. Ooh, okay. All right, so we get down Divine Visitation. That's going to be a lot of Angel. Yeah, I like this top pile right here. No. Yeah, we're going to go. If they close it out with the Sanguinate or something like that with Coffers and Urborg, that's fine. We're not going to pay live. So I think the best bet is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We're going to have 10 total mana. 9 if we don't go for the crack. So let's say that we go Jace, draw a couple cards, and we can get those back in there and dump some cards. So not going to pay any more life. Let's put Conjurer's Closet on top. Let's go Temple of Silence. Let's go Blade Splicer. Let's go Divine Visitation and then Jace. So that way we can get down Jace, still get down Divine Visitation, and still kind of get around that Void Winnower. Okay, so it's going to be another life loss. Let's go for Jace the Mind Sculptor. We can go for the 0 ability, draw 3 cards. They might have a counter spell. If they do, then all right, they don't. So let's go for the 0 ability. We're going to be able to draw 3 cards. We'll put Temple of Enlightenment back on top. And I think Temple of Silence. And yeah, this is perfect. So we'll put both of those back. Let's go Divine Visitation. And this will really start to amplify this Bitter Blast. I was hoping to find some sort of answer for Coffers, but we get down Divine Visitation. We're doing really good. And especially once we go for the Scalding Tarn Crack, that'll allow us to kind of shuffle away those two lands on top. Now, I guess at this point, yeah, we can go ahead and push in with these creatures. Now, our opponent can go for a Crystal Shard, bouncing back Murmuring Mystic if they want to, but really with Bitter Blossom, Divine Visitation, we're going to be doing pretty good. So let's try to start getting some damage in at this point right now. Yeah, that'll be good. All right, so we're going to swing in for 2, so knock him down to 25, and then we'll go and pass the turn over to our opponent. But yeah, I think Planeswalkers would be a wonderful addition to Commander. Worst case scenario, just try it out. Maybe it's for 3 months or something like that, and we'll see how it is. And I don't think it would be that bad. There's a lot of times when you're building a Planeswalker deck and that, you have to protect your Planeswalker. There's a lot of times where that kind of makes you the target as soon as you get down a Planeswalker, because you're going to be able to generate value. Yeah, we'll go and we'll go and crack Scalding Tarn. That way we can at least shuffle our library up and make them spend that last 3 mana. We'll grab ourselves Tundra. Yeah, that'll be good. Grab Tundra, and we will definitely pay that last mana. Yes. And that'll leave Murmuring Mystic, and that'll force him to go for that activation again. But yeah, there's a lot of times where you get down a Planeswalker, you're going to have to protect. You have to have the board state for it. And, I always see the argument of, what about doubling season? If we need to ban doubling season, ban it. There's other +1 counter interactions out there. But, I guess my viewpoint is, like, we saw the rules committee whenever they released the Unstable set. They just, like, out of left field were just like, hey, every single uncard is legal in Commander, have fun. I mean, like, ooh, Ulamog is coming down. Okay. So with Ulamog, oh man, that was, I had to go for Bitter Blossom Divine Visitation. They've been so nice. So they're going to have Ulamog, destroy target permanent. Oh, they're going to go for Jace. Okay. And then Annihilator 4. So hopefully we can kind of get around that. And if we get down Blade Splicer, that's going to be another 4/4 Angel. Yeah, I'm fine with that. Okay. All right, so we're going to get the Bitter Blossom. That's going to be the Angel token, and then Thran Dynamo. So we go Blade Splicer, Aminatou. Yeah, I think I like that. So let's go triple blue, Azorius Signet. And we go Aminatou. We're going to be able to get down Aminatou. We need to pay one more black mana. And then let's go for a Blade Splicer, because what we can do with Blade Splicers, once we're just going to enter the battlefield, we're not going to get the added benefit of them having first strike, but we're going to end up with an Angel token, which is perfectly fine by me. Now, with them having an open Maze of Ith, I think at this point what we want to do is, let's go on Exile, Blade Splicer, bounce that one again. That's going to give us another 4/4 Angel. Now, Ulamog is indestructible, and so I think at this point what we probably want to do is let's go for Thran Dynamo. Yeah, I guess we go Thran Dynamo, because that way at least it's going to be another option. They can bounce something back with Crystal Shard and untap targeting attacking creature. Yeah, we still need to get in for a little bit of damage, so let's go and push in with these 3 in the air. And we definitely don't want to swing it with Murmuring Mystic. So we're going to be able to swing it for 3, knock him down to 20. And then if we get an additional Angel token, that's going to put us in the range of might being able to close it out. And then with us getting down Thran Dynamo, that'll be basically just another thing for us to sacrifice for the Annihilator trigger. All right, so we're swinging it for 2. That's going to knock him down to a 21. And then anything else, we're out of cards. We're going to go and pass the turn to our opponent. But yeah, you know, they just dumped like every single uncard into the commander format. Like, hey, go have some fun. And like, I don't get that. I didn't get it when they announced it. And like, I could see where they would maybe say, hey, the new commanders from the unstable set, they're going to be legal as commander for a little bit of time. And that would have been perfectly fine. But it's like they made the entire unset, all the entire history of the uncards legal and commander, and just, you know, you think of the commander you think of the commander format as an ecosystem, and you just dump like 300 cards into that ecosystem. I mean, that's kind of, I mean, it sounds dramatic, but it is kind of reckless just to dump 300 cards into this format that's been around forever. And so the fact that Sheldon wouldn't allow Planeswalkers, I don't know. I feel like it's a creative area that we could certainly explore. And, you know, who knows? Maybe it leads to some fun deck building, and they're really not that scary. Having all, you know, there is some Planeswalkers that would not be fun to play against a lot. You know, having Jace being a Planeswalker deck, that's not too much fun. But really, the thought about just getting down Jace for 4 mana and then brainstorming, I mean, that would be a lot of fun for that player. But I mean, it's not going to win the game. But you know, there is that side that you need to watch out for. Void Winnower. Okay, yeah, that's fine. There is that side that you have to watch out for in that. You know, stuff like Doubling Season, you don't want commanders that immediately win as soon as it enters the battlefield, or, you know, getting down some of those lock pieces where opponents can't cast spells. You know, that would be something that we need to ban, because you don't want to just have somebody just win as soon as they enter the battlefield. Phantasmal Image, let's see who they're going to choose a copy of. Whenever you cast this spell, I mean, I guess they could go Murmuring Mystic to really kind of complicate what we've got going on. But at this point, they have nothing with Reach. So, yeah, we'll see what this Phantasmal Image is going to be. Okay, and our opponent's going to have a super secret copy, backup copy of Void Winter, so we can cast no more even spells. But thankfully, like I mentioned, we've got a pretty good amount of 3 and 5 drops that we can go for. And we still have Entreat the Angels, we have Secure the Waste, we have Sphinx Revelation. So there's still a lot of stuff that we can do. Now, the important thing is, let's see if our opponent's going to go for Ulamog, getting that Annihilator trigger. Swinging in with the Tiger and Ulamog, so that will end up being Annihilator 4. So we do need to throw a creature in front of Ulamog. That's going to be Annihilator 4. We're going to have to sacrifice some stuff. I guess at this point we get rid of Thran Dynamo. Aminatou is going to be an immediate. Well, actually, let's see where they're swinging in at first. Okay, so we are being attacked by our opponent's commander, and Aminatou is being attacked by Ulamog. So I think at this point, what we're going to do is we're just going to toss. Ooh, we don't want to sacrifice the bird token. Yeah, I guess we can sacrifice these 2 tap tokens. We're going to sacrifice Thran Dynamo. We still want to hold on to Bitter Blossom. I guess we can sacrifice Azorius Signet. So that's not too bad. So we're going to go ahead and block with the bird token. But actually, excuse me, they can't block. So that's going to be allowing them swinging in at Aminatou. And I guess if we're going to bounce another permanent... Yeah, I completely forgot about the blocking part with even converted mana cost. So if that ends up happening... Let's see how we're going to do, because that's going to lose Aminatou, but we can always recast her. Yeah, I'd rather leave Blade Splicer on the battlefield. And that's still going to give us the option of at least blocking on one of these creatures. Because now that I think about it, we can't block with the... I always get... I'm not super scared of Void Winter, but I forgot about the creatures can't block. So let's see what we draw into. And this is going to be Bitter Blossom. And then Whirler Rogue. Enters the battlefield, creates some Thopter tokens. But we can't cast it, unfortunately. So let's go ahead and push in with our Angel tokens. And since we can't block, we'll just go ahead and swing in. That's going to be 4, 8, 12. That's going to be 13. It's going to put them down to 6. And let's go for Aminatou. It's not looking good, but we'll at least try to jam Aminatou. That's going to be 1, 2, 3. We need to tap down black and then white. We'll be able to go for the +1. Yeah, because we really just need to draw a card, because Bouncing Blade Splicer is nice, but these Angel tokens can't block. So we need to... basically draw a card, hit Toxic Deluge for 10, and stabilize at 1. So I think that's about it, or hit a destruction spell. But even then, it still doesn't stop us from Ulamog. So let's see what the top card of our library is. Recruiter of the Guard. Now that's going to be an additional blocker. We'll put Whirler Rogue back on top. Let's go Recruiter of the Guard. I mean, that's something. We go white and tap down Underground River. So at least it'd be another blocker. And then do we have a 1-drop creature? No, I don't think we do. Alright, so we're going to search our library for creature with toughness 2 or less and put it into our hand. Let's see what we hit off of that. Yes, we definitely want to use that ability. Let's get this popped out just a little bit bigger. And I guess at this point, we just end up grabbing... so we can go for Cloud Blazer. That allows us to gain some life and draw a couple more cards. I'm thinking either that or we end up going for Angel of Invention. That's going to allow us to block and get a little bit of life link. I just feel Cloud Blazer is pretty much going to be one of the best options. We can't go for Spellseeker to grab some spot removal. Yeah, let's go Spellseeker. That's going to keep us a little bit more open, but unfortunately we can't go for that. And we've already gone for an Aminatou activation. And then anything else? No, we're going to go and pass turn to our opponent. So we do have at least 2 more creatures on the battlefield. We have Recruiter of the Guard, Blade Splicer. That does allow us to at least kind of block on one of these creatures. But I think at this point, even if we... having 2 more creatures, yeah, they're still going to be able to get in for 10 and then 1 with the Tiger Shadow. So yeah, good game to our opponent. I think they're going to get it on this one. We still have an open mana for Crystal Shard, but I think they're going to get it. But we'll see how they destroy. All creatures get -2/-2 until end of turn. Now that's certainly going to complicate our blockers, so now we can't block. So good game to our opponent. They're definitely going to close this one out. We almost had it. You can definitely see where we could have been a little bit more aggressive, maybe trying to deal with some of the stuff on their battlefield, but here to have some fun in Commander, Bitter Blossom, Divine Visitation, that is some really good magic. But yeah, long story short, I think Planeswalkers would be perfectly fine as Commanders, and I'd like to hear your opinion. If you want to hop in the chat, any comments, just let me know. I'd like to read different things like that, and it's just kind of cool to get different people's takes. Maybe your play group has tried to make a Planeswalker be Commanders for a little bit, and it was miserable. I don't know. I've never had the opportunity to do it. So either way, hop in the comments. I'd love to hear your opinion on it. And just keep it civil. If Planeswalkers are going to be a thing down the road, and I'd like for it to be just an open discussion among people who are pro and against it. So if somebody has an opposing view, just keep it civil, because we want to understand where the other person is coming from. But good game to our opponent. That was a really well-played game. That Void Winter came back to get us. And yeah, if you enjoyed the video, like and subscribe. Thanks. Bye.